All right, let's talk about the Daiwa Salt Pro Minnow. This is what I would consider a non-beginner surf casting lure. It's quite advanced in its design and purpose. Um, this is not something I recommend you use for bluefish because it'll get torn up even in its great design. I really reserve this for use with striped bass and as much as possible target it for that purpose. So what we have is a really well made design for the swimming plug, and you'll see the reflection is clean. It is exceptionally smooth. I've had this for some years and not a scratch on it. This is something that has, if you can hear it, that internal rattle is a slip weighting system. So as you cast it, that is fully engaged and will help you to get some distance with it. It has what many people call a tight wiggle. And as you can see from the design, it definitely impersonates a slim profile bait such as spearing or bay anchovies or sand eels, even if you get it down to the bottom. It is really well performing in especially in more calm surf. You know, if you're using this in heavy surf, obviously it's going to roll quite a bit, and that's where you'd probably use something more appropriate, like a bottle plug or something like that, or a really fat metal lip swimmer. But this, you know, I've thrown this in an inlet, I've thrown it in a back bay, I've thrown it in the shallows, even at low tide, and I'd get some hits. It is just a superior fishing lure, and for the cost, and if you know you have other swimming plugs for the cost, I think you are going to invest in this. It's not. It's probably one of the best commercially made plugs out there. I usually use it early season. You get a lot of small bass coming through before you get the peak. You know, in usually late April, May when the bunker come through, and then it's a good summertime bait too because of the smaller fish and even the exotic fish that come around in late summer. And as you get into the mullet run, this is fantastic in September and October. So again, I don't generally recommend this for beginners to use. I think if you're a beginner, you may not have the right gear that optimizes how best to throw it and use it. I once saw a person use a similar Salt Pro Minnow on a 10-foot ugly stick with a giant reel on it going for bluefish, and that was on the fence in a jetty, and not in a jetty, in a river, on the fence in a river in one of the inlets, and it was really disheartening to watch them cast out as hard as they can, and it barely would go anywhere. Meanwhile, you have some surf pros who are throwing it with the appropriate gear, generally like a 8 to 9 foot medium action surf rod, and just getting it into the middle of the inlet. So it's really important to use the right gear for this if you really want to optimize it. Final rating, if I had to rate this, like, you know, out of 5, where 5 is you have to buy it, it's exceptional. As long as you've got some years underneath you and on the beach, and you have the right gear, I would say absolutely buy it. If you're just starting out, I would say hold off until you've gone through some experiences and then you'd probably appreciate more why this lure exists, and getting it to the right, getting it connected with the right gear and optimize it would probably be the better thing to do, so you're not wasting your money. And in my other reviews, you'll see I did a review for the more classic vintage Bomber and Bomber Long A. Those would be more appropriate commercially created swim plugs that are more appropriate for if you're just starting out. The material is a little bit of a different quality that could be more conducive for learners to use and such. For example, this is not something you want to be banging up against rocks, whereas the bombers are kind of more made for that, for that kind of durability. All right, enjoy, and looking forward to the next review.